Hi there, I'm Louise Borthwick of Empowered Relationships, and I'm here with Molly Blake, who has just completed the 12-week empowerment program. And Molly's kindly agreed to give me a bit of a testimonial interview. So, hi, Molly. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, back.
So, let's look at what was going on for you when you first kind of looked for some therapy, when you found the empowerment program.
So I felt like I'd got to a really desperate place. I had done work on myself previously with different therapies and things, and I just felt like it hadn't worked. I was feeling really overwhelmed. I had a lot of obsessive thoughts, and I was really negative and critical about myself. And I just didn't like the relationship I had with myself, and then by extension, the relationship I was having with other people. And I felt really overwhelmed all of the time. And I didn't really know what else to do. I tried exercise, I tried changing my diet, and that had worked for a while, but I still wasn't in the best place mentally. So I went on a Google search, and then we had a conversation on the phone, about half an hour conversation you gave me of your time, and the first couple of tools in our first conversation. And I kind of thought, okay, yeah, all right, let's try it.
What had you already done in terms of therapy before?
So I had different therapies throughout my life. I went through a few things in my childhood, and I had a counsellor as a child. I had a counsellor in college, and I saw another one at uni. So I think in total throughout all of that, I'd seen 5 different counsellors and people, and for lots of varying different reasons, but I never felt like that had, like, I felt like it helped in the moment, but nothing really shifted, I don't think.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I got to this point and thought, nah, something needs to happen again.
Okay, you need to do something more. What was going on for you when you first started the program? What kind of things were going on for you in your day to day?
I work a very stressful, full-on job. I'm a teacher. It felt like it was really zapping everything from me. And I wanted to have a bit more of a balanced, healthier lifestyle with myself. Felt like I was always worrying about what other people thought about me. I felt rubbish and useless, and I was thinking all these things about myself, and then I didn't really have very much energy to deal with a lot of other things. I was also living at home in a not a great environment there. So yeah, I felt like just something really needed to shift.
So things were a bit difficult and had come to a bit of a head for you, hadn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've mentioned that we had our first 30-minute call. So how did you find that onboarding kind of process with me, having that 30-minute call?
I felt like from the first conversation, I felt like I could trust you. I felt like, you just wanted to help straight away. And that was really nice. I think hearing about the program, I was really skeptical to start with. And then over the first couple of weeks, I was like, okay, this is actually really targeted to me. And it's the life-changing process, but it is all about me still. Like that wasn't the case, if that makes sense.
When you mentioned the first couple of weeks and things began to like, oh, I see what's going on here. I love a good light bulb moment. And you really lovely named them your magic moments as we went through.
Yeah.
So, I've got to call them the magic moments. When did you notice the first kind of, or the biggest, like, what magic moments? What was going on? What happened for you?
I think from each week, I think there was some sort of magic moment, some sort of like mini transformation. But I think it really kicked up a gear after like the 5th session, I think. That's when I threw a lot more of myself into it. And I think the more I put into it, the more I was getting out of it. And I'm pretty sure it's session 5. I wrote loads down. I did loads like throughout the week. And I realized so much had changed in that week. I was astounded, to be honest, about that. And then it was week 8 as well, when other people had started noticing changes. And I'd gone back to work after the summer holidays. And a few people had said, oh, like you're behaving slightly differently. Like you feel like fresher, you feel like more free, you know. And the way I was talking to people, I felt like was nicer. There was loads of small ones, but I think week 5 was when I really threw myself into it and noticed loads of changes. And then week 8 again was another week where I was like, oh wow, okay, like other people are noticing this as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. There's a couple of really, really big magic moments that you had. Can you share what they might have been?
We talked about mind chatter and the thoughts that you would have about yourself, and we'd come up with quite a few of them in like week 4 or 5. Slowly, eventually I kind of realized actually like my behaviors beforehand were really manipulative without even thinking about it. And just I hated the thought of that. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is what I was doing. Blimey, like that's what I was doing before. But I don't need to manipulate the conversation. It just needs to be free of things. And I was like, wow, okay, huge magic moment 1. But another one was just really understanding that in a situation when people feel out of control, they try and gain control. And that's also translated into my profession as well. That's helped couple of the children that I work with, more than a couple. It's really, really helped them express themselves better and in a much healthier way, and we can move on from a situation. So it's not just in my personal life, it's helped in all aspects of my life as well.
Healthy relationship communication is pretty vital, isn't it, to be able to kind of reduce escalation of conflict in all circumstances, you know, in working relationships, in personal relationships, with family members, with children. What was the turning point then, Molly?
The first one had to have been that oversharing just pushes people away. You know, beforehand I was a great oversharer, and I would notice moments in conversations where people would go, okay, and there would be this real awkward like tension because I've shared something really deep and personal and emotional about my life. Potentially like the second week I was like, that's turning people away like that, and that's making me not have good relationships with other people. I don't need to keep saying my story again and again. Like the story is not important, it's my actions that is the important bit. I don't need to over explain myself, you know, because everyone's had those personal experiences. So I don't need to do that in order to have good relationships with people. A mutual respect, because everyone's, like I said, everyone's lived really rich and full lives, so oversharing is just going to push people away. So that was probably one of the main ones. And then also just accepting that I have feelings and those feelings are good and okay, and to let those feelings flow, and let that out. And that's okay. You know, it's not a negative about me. It's healthy and it's good.
It's healthy and it's good to feel. It's a good idea to
it's
allow those emotions.
Yeah.
What have the benefits been then of the empowerment program for you?
I will miss some because there are just too many. I feel like a completely different person. I'm going to start getting emotional now as well because of how much it's changed. And honestly, I was so skeptical. I was like, nope, it won't work for me. I'm still going to be negative. I'm still going to have these intrusive thoughts. They're still going to be there, but they're really not. It's just every element has changed. I think I'm a much lighter person. When things get really stressful now, I'm much better at managing a situation. I'm being able to process the emotions that I'm feeling. People have accepted the life changes that I've made. just understanding that life's going to happen. I can have a reaction to something, but it's my actions after that that affect, you know, how I'm feeling and the relationships I'm having with other people. And I'm much less hard on myself now as well. I'm not like attacking myself in my brain. Like, I was doing that to myself all the time, using really nasty words, like swearing at myself, and it was horrible. But I don't do that anymore. I don't talk negatively about myself. So I feel lighter and more prepared for life and things.
So your relationships in terms of the people around you, would you say that those relationships have improved?
Massively, yeah. I would say definitely with my partner as well. That was something really, you know, so we just our communication is, I thought it was pretty good before, but it's just really jumped up a notch, and we've moved in together since starting the process as well, which was an incredible step. My relationship with my family, all of my family and colleagues as well, because there've just been changes everywhere.
They're all good changes, right?
Really, yeah, really, really good changes. And you know, I just see things a lot more positively now as well, which is just really nice. I just didn't think that I'd be able to see myself in this way and be able to process things the way that I can now. I just didn't believe it was going to happen, and it has.
Oh, that's great. So would you recommend the empowerment program then to other people?
Yeah. So I have, when I've mentioned a few things to my loved ones, my really, really close friends, the way I've spoken about it, they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. And people have said, I really want to do that. It's the best money I've ever spent. And I can hand on my heart say that. And I just won't go back. You know, it's because I feel like before having counselors and things through like school and things, I hadn't had to pay for them. But I've always felt like I needed to go back to see someone else every time. Whereas now, like, the last few weeks of the program is really embedding everything that's happened before. Talking to you, Louise, like throughout the sessions, it's like, no, actually, come on, like, you have made progress. You have made, you know, impactful life changes in the way that you process and the way that you communicate and, you know, the way you talk to yourself. So you won't go backwards. I won't go backwards. And yeah, it's just a lasting life change that I'm just really excited to really embed throughout my life.
The foundation for change.
I was so skeptical. And I really thought, it's a program, how, like, that's not going to work for me and my life is so busy, like, and I was so negative before about it, which gives another insight into how I was feeling about myself. But yeah, the best money I've ever spent. The homeworks are fine. I really thought I would be too stressed to do the homeworks, and some weeks I felt close to it, but that's because of the pressure I put on myself. And then realizing, actually, no, you know, the homework, it's not for you, Louise. It's for me. And the more that I put into it, the more I get out of it. And that was so true in week 5 as well. I put so much into it and I got so much back out of it as well. Yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. It is totally tailored. You know, I had to extend my sessions for another 4 weeks, and you know, I was like, okay, no, that's fine though, because life had been thrown at me, and I was like, no, okay, let's keep going. And but yeah, just completely life-changing. And I think if I could do it all over again, I would. Like, I can't recommend it enough. And the amount of people I talk to about it is just, yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and long may it continue.
Yes.
Thanks for the interview, Molly, and well, I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Bye.